Hey all, and welcome back to the Isle of Armor DLC in Pokémon Sword. These pokes are fast as fuck, boy, and this is the first trial. We're gonna catch them and get Clara's uniform back. But don't worry, you can use the bike. They're gonna stay localized in this particular area here, and just basically run around in a circuit, because no one ever said Slowpokes were the smartest water Pokémon alive.
Well, they're not even water anymore, so yeah.
Oh,
but,
true, yeah.
Yeah, this is basically going against everything I've ever known. If you think of the Weird Al song, everything you know is wrong. This is kind of the experience I see when I see fucking Slowpokes legging it around the entire area there.
It's like Sonic being slow, or Mario being unable to jump. You know, it's weird. It's like a dog without a collar. It's like, you're naked, put the collar back on.
Well, Sonic being slow, that's a good handful of his games, unfortunately, but you know.
Yeah, I guess so. By the way, did you notice the names of the bike colours we can get here, Flame?
Yes, I did, and I also saw your theory that they're possible remake names. I don't buy it.
Well, Sparkling Diamond and Glistening Pearl, or Sparkling White and Glistening Black. It works. It's kind of tasty. I like it.
It's the Shadow the Hedgehog bike, I like it.
You're not wrong, Flame.
I mean, to be honest, both of the T-bike designs are really cool. Like, I went with the white one, and that was awesome, and this just looks epic as well. Like, great design, and honestly, I wouldn't want the bike any other colour at this point. Like, all the other options are a little bit crap.
True. See, that dust cloud in the distance is one of the Slowpokes here. And also, can I say, it's a bit traumatic to see a Lecitong just walking around and whatnot, but not as much as running smack damn into a middle of a fucking licky.
Oh yes, that was one of the first Pokemon I caught when I got to the Isle of Armor, like once I've been in the dojo and shit, and it's just like, oh, I guess Licky's here? Great.
Obviously, depending on whether you're playing Sword or Shield, there are different Pokemon available on the Isle of Armor. It's just really neat to walk about and see, oh shit, there's a Cypher. Oh, it's a Drudagon. Oh, it's like a Skarmory or something. So, build on that, and I think you'll have a really, really solid game on your hands.
Oh, definitely.
That's another thing that, going back to what we were saying last part about how it feels so much more lived in than just a typical route. Even the routes in the main game, they did have the Pokemon running around on the overworld, but it weren't quite the same. They were confined to these little areas. Whereas this, it's just a Pokemon could just be wandering around anywhere, and yes, you got fucking rammed in the back by a Slowpoke.
Well, what can I say? He moved faster than my eyes could behold. But don't you worry, he's not water anymore, which means I can just kick him in the face.
It's totally fair.
What if these Slowpoke aren't fast, though? What if you're just really slow?
That doesn't make any sense, no matter how you slice it.
Well, it seemed relatively fast compared to you in that case. Of course he uses the fucking rain dance to weaken your fire attack.
Well, he's burned now, so good luck with it.
Yeah, well, he can still waste your time plenty.
I suppose, I could catch him, but I'm not sure if, he breaks out and it's no, thou must defeat him.
I don't think you can catch these ones. I didn't try, but in terms of the narrative, given they are Mustard's Pokemon, it wouldn't really make sense to be able to.
I would just love Mustard, coming out of nowhere, dynamic entry to kick the Pokeball away.
Yeah, you ain't got a snag machine here, bitch.
Oh, he just disappeared into the ether like Ant-Man. Alright, let's continue around the, hang on. Oh, we took back the jacket. Now I have 2 jackets. I'm twice as warm. Which we probably don't need in the wetlands, because it's gonna be, damp and musty as fuck in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, a tiny mushroom. There are a fuck ton of items on the Isle of Armor. You can't go 2 feet without something sparkling, which to me as a collector collectathon nut if you will, is fine and dandy. Just give me more stuff to pick up. I can sell a lot of this stuff anyway at a Pokemon, but you may start to be a bit overwhelmed. Don't be. Stop being a little bitch. Pick it up, use it, or sell it. Oh, there it is!
Yeah, that's licky. But yeah, I will say, like, in terms of the items, because not only are there a lot around, but they also respawn after a period of time. And it got to the point of just travelling around where I just got bored picking stuff up, so I ended up ignoring most of the items, which for someone with compulsive tendencies like myself, that is a real fucking rarity. Are we gonna get the tongue?
Wait for it. God bless you, Quick Ball. If you want your own collection of Quick Balls, I suggest bopping down to Wyndon's Pokemart, or you could probably take your chance with one of the ball seller guys in the wild area of Galar, but I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, especially in terms of playing it now, because in the week or so before the DLC came out, there was a mystery gift event where you could get a fuckload of nuggets for some reason, and if you sell all them, then you've got so much fucking money that you're never gonna be out of it throughout the entire game now. So if you want to just blow everything you got on Quick Balls, then you can do that. I had a massive stock of Quick Balls just going into this because I knew I'd want to catch basically everything.
That's funny. I did that for Shield, because I got the DLC in Shield as well, just to, like, you know, play it on my own so I know how to route the DLC when we recorded it, and so on. And I did it there. I forgot to do it for fucking Sword, which is a real bitch, because, wouldn't you know it, I didn't have enough, like, EXP raising things to be able to level a certain Pokemon we'll be getting in a little bit, in order to make it evolve. So, it took maybe half an hour to an hour to get what I needed. It wasn't long at all.
No, but I find that amusing considering it was you who reminded me to do the fucking mystery gift event.
Well, just another case of Entom's rules for thee, but not for he.
Yeah, so usually when people take that kind of methodology, it's to benefit themselves, not screw themselves over.
Alas for poor Dom Entom. So that's 2 Slowpokes out of 3. Are you enjoying the first trial so far, Richie?
Yeah, it's going pretty well, I think.
Well, I mean, in terms of your personal enjoyment, how did you fare?
I mean, honestly, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was just sort of such an off-piste idea, I suppose, chasing after a bunch of really fast Slowpoke, that it just made me quite happy, to be honest, because it wasn't something that I was expecting, and so it was a really nice surprise.
I don't like Licky Licky walking around like that, because it's just a big, pink, naked man at that point.
Don't you want the big pink naked man to lick you, though?
No, I don't.
It's like, no matter how you talk about Licky Tongue and Licky Licky, it's gonna sound fucking uncomfortable.
There's Lopunny. Just continue to make this weird, why don't you? Oh my god, he's fast, massacre, etc.
No, well, the Lopunny isn't worth it until you find a Dynamax one.
Jesus Christ.
I ain't stopping.
Wasn't there a guy in Oraz who, like, had to give his Lopunny away, or whatever, with a Dynamax crystal?
Well, like with the Mega thing.
Mega
the Mega
crystal,
one,
yeah.
Yeah, because the Mega Lopunny basically is a fucking Playboy bunny. Like, it's got the rip tights and everything. They know what they're doing with that design. For better or worse.
Goodbye, Mr. Slowpoke.
But in terms of this Slowpoke mission, I think what this is really good for is that it sort of teases the amount of space there is to explore, because it's just like, this one particular area that you go with to start with, it's like, you can see that not only is this a lot more detailed, a lot more interesting, and a lot more themed than the wild area you used to, but you can also see little bits of like the ocean in the back and the forest right behind where you are now, and it kind of makes you think that, like, this is cool that I'm exploring this for this mission, and there's even more to come.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is much more effective than just throwing you into it, because it's like making you appreciate what there is, and then being like, oh, and now you get a bigger cake, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, these characters around, they basically just give you a scene thing for your Pokédex. They just show you a Pokemon that they've seen, and it's kind of pointless, all things considered.
Oh,
but
Jesus. Oh.
yeah, the people of Galar have never seen a Magnemite before. They're used to the inferior Clink.
Yeah, whoa, steady on now. We're still working, like, through the Industrial Revolution here.
Yeah, but that is one of the reasons why I'm glad they're starting to bring the other Pokemon back in now, because like I don't dislike the Clink line, they're just less cool than Magnemite's line. So that was why it kind of stung a little bit in the main game, because it's like I don't dislike this Pokemon, but it's obviously a less cool replacement for one they've taken out, whereas now it's like just pick whichever one you feel like, so it's much less of an insult now. Are we exploring the cave a bit early, or are we just having a little dip our toes in?
Just having a little shifty poo and whatnot.
We still don't have the smooth weather effects yet. It still is, you just step over this tile and suddenly it's raining or suddenly it's cloudy, which like I imagine that's something they might be able to smooth out a bit in the next game, hopefully, now they've kind of got the base idea set down. But it's one of the things that it was fine in the sprite games, it just doesn't work as well in the 3D games.
Not particularly. Sadly, Nintendo, for better or worse, will always be a generation behind. I'm sorry, that is just the way they view things. They say that they're not competing with Sony or Microsoft, so it's kind of a self-defeating attitude, really.
Well, it's one of the things that they get by with that because they have such a strong first-party lineup, but it means that third parties are always going to shaft them, and that's like a lot of people come up with these conspiracies about how like this company don't want to work with Nintendo or they're sabotaging Nintendo or some shit like that. In reality, what it comes down to is that because Nintendo hardware is always so different, they would need to do a lot more work to make their game run on the Nintendo system. And for a lot of companies, if they've already got an install base on the Xbox and the PS4, then it's more cost effective from just to release on what they know. Like sometimes you can kind of look at things and think, okay, maybe they could just do a Switch port and it wouldn't hurt them, but a lot of the time it feels like they would have to scale a lot down to put out an inferior version of a game they've already got out for probably a different target market that might not necessarily be that invested.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong on that one.
I like Malamar. It's like I use that a fair bit. Not in any of the games that he actually appeared in, but when I played Omega Ruby last, I traded over a Inkay that I had on one of my other games, and I came to appreciate it a lot. He's got good typing, Psychic Dark.
Oh yeah.
Drapion not so much. Like it's Poison Dark, but I just never really found much of a use for him. He probably has one, but I'm a scrub.
Actually, so I was just doing a little bit of figuring out of exactly sort of where we're at in terms of the overall Pokédex. So in the original Sword and Shield, we had, I think it was a total of 400 Pokemon available in the Galar Pokédex. With the Isle of Armor, that is now up to 510.
Nice.
And in total, I believe that there are now 890 Pokemon in existence, not including the legendaries that are going to come into existence with Crown Tundra. So we are missing about maybe 300, 400 Pokemon. Still, which is not bad, all things considered, considering how sort of pissed off everyone was at the cut down Pokédex. The fact that we're sort of now over halfway to having them all in one game. Like, obviously, still maybe could have done better, but it's a start.
See, that's kind of a double-edged sword in a way, though, because like we're getting to the point we're gonna get more in with the Crown Tundra, and given we're creeping so close, it's gonna feel like, well, at this point you might as well put them all in. But then, like, even with like over half, isn't then gonna sting even more next gen when they cut a load out again?
Yeah, there is that. I mean, it's awkward. I mean, I wonder whether, because of the complete backlash that occurred, whether they've realised that taking that approach isn't gonna work out in terms of fan response, so they're gonna have to try and find ways of including all the Pokemon in from the beginning. in some way, shape or form. I think they were right to go with the approach of let's go with having a set number of Pokemon for this particular region, purely because that way you can really balance everything a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you can make sure that you've got a reasonable number of each type of Pokemon. You're not sort of beholden to the whole swathes of Pokemon that exist. But yeah, they're in that sort of difficult position where it's, do you piss off everybody again, or do you stick to your guns and hope that people don't get pissed off again?
Honestly, I feel like Gen 5 did a pretty good job, because you have all the new Pokemon with none of the other ones until you beat the game. Then, like, you get the National Dex, and it starts opening up like that. But if they're not going to do that, like Richie says, create a set which is balanced for, like, the main game and the post-game, etc. And then when DLC comes along, you could start introducing more and more and more, which is kind of what they've done here, but the whole PR and optics of the whole thing was just dire.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't expect this backlash, which says a lot. They should have expected some people to want to catch them all, and I know like they've since dropped that tag for a long time now, but the point of Pokemon is to go on an adventure with, like, your bros and whatnot, your Poke Bros. So to say, like, oh, Charizard's here, but sorry, Blastoise and Venusaur, you have to wait, that's a bit of a sore spot. So it's no wonder people are pissed off.
It's also, I imagine, because there's more fees coming about in terms of bringing your old Pokemon forward. Like,
yes.
Like in terms of Pokemon Bank, like home you can just move Pokemon between your Switch games, whatever, and that's fine. You only need a free account for that. But like the fact that Bank is still a subscription service, like that never used to be the case. You didn't need to pay a subscription to get your Ruby Sapphire Pokemon into Diamond and Pearl. You just put it in the DS slot, you know. And like it makes me miss fucking link cables. That's the situation there.
It's unfortunate, and I suppose it's the problem that Pokemon is eternally going to have, because there are so many of the blighters that you effectively, it's exponentially growing with every game, so you're going to need to constantly find new ways of including more and more and more, and finding ways of kind of transferring as you go. The realist in me says at some point you've got to find a way of stopping it and just saying, you know what, it's not possible anymore. But then also the fan in me goes, well, of course you can find a way. There is always a way to do something, and you've managed to get Pokemon from Ruby Sapphire all the way to now. The only ones that they weren't able to do were from Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, which, I mean, still smarts a little bit. But they've managed it all the way from there, so to be honest, just roll with it.
Who are we gonna pick?
Who shall I go with? Indeed, I made sure to pick the opposite of the one I picked in Shield. I just can't remember which that was.
It is nice to see Bulbasaur and Squirtle getting a bit of love after how much they jerked Charizard off in the main game, I will say that much.
This seems like a direct response to that, actually.
It does a little bit, especially given Blastoise and Venusaur get Gigantamax forms now.
Oh, I'm stupid, it's because Leon took the Charmander.
Oh, is that what's implied?
No, that is literally what has happened, because it's not really going to be covered until later, although it might be mentioned at some point that we've already gone past. But Leon studied at this dojo, so he took the Charmander.
No, fair play. Might that have been the one that he left for us?
Huh. I don't know. The timeline's a bit skewy here, because these guys are, like, still, you know, base form and whatnot, so who knows?
Unless they've just been sitting in their ball for God knows how long. We got a gold Donny Squirtle.
There you go. Does machines and doesn't afraid of anything.
Oh, I like Walucha.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't using him effectively here, so he goes in the box for now.
That's another benefit of this game, though, that we've talked about it in the main story, but I do like how easy they've made it just to rotate your team on the fly.
Oh god, yeah.
That was a thing from the Let's Go games, and it's one of the things that I'm really glad they did carry over.
Well, I mean, it makes sense at this point because you kind of you look at it and you just go, so why am I restricted in what Pokemon I can get at whatever point? Like, it was really arbitrary. Obviously, I suppose it made sense when you had the technical limitations, but since they sort of have gone now, you kind of sit there and just go, well, why can't I? And when that becomes the question, it's just like, well, you might as well just let people do it.
Well, we've spoken about that at length. There is a picture of a Metapod on the wall for some reason, as well as a Charmander. Maybe it's the one Leon took, who knows. Our second trial is to get some max mushrooms. A few of those in the soup. You can have max soup, give it to a Pokemon, and if they're special enough, I guess, they can Gigantamax. It's like Dynamaxing, except your Pokemon will change appearance in addition to growing super big and whatnot. The Kanto starters can do it. The Galarian starters can do it. I'm not sure if they're going to add, like, forms for... I know Gen 2's not going to get anything, that's for fucking sure.
Oh, definitely.
But the signature Pokemon of the Isle of Armor can do it, and there's a bunch of them. And I believe once you get the initial batch of mushrooms, you will have to do some max raid battles online in order to get the mushrooms to spawn quicker or at all, in order to get more soup to give to more Pokemon and whatnot.
Yeah, I ended up coming across that particular issue. I think when I was looking, I mean, I know I was a bit later in the line, but they hadn't sort of necessarily figured out properly how to get the mushrooms to spawn more regularly. It would appear that it is playing more max raid battles, but they do, I think, return daily.
Yeah.
But so the max soup, as we will sort of go out and get, I am so glad that they've done it, because that was one of the things that I was basically asking for when the original game came out. So I've got a Pokemon that can Dynamax, and it's got a Gigantamax form, but for some reason, you know, I can't just get it to be able to Gigantamax. And they fixed it. It's slightly annoying that you've got to, you know, go out of your way to find 3 different mushrooms rather than just sort of a single cluster, but I'm glad that it's here and you're able to do it, so you at least have the choice.
And, you know, it's not like an instant win button or anything. You still have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it. So it feels like you're working towards something, which is nice. Oh, there's this mechanic.
It's an interesting mechanic, and by interesting mechanic I mean not at all interesting mechanic, but it's neat, I guess. Basically, this thing combines items to make new items, and the main appeal is that you can now make Pokeballs with the apricorns again, just like in Gen 2.
Yeah, boy.
It's more efficient just to get other kinds of Pokeballs from the shops, honestly, but hey, I guess it's a neat little throwback.
It's not guaranteed if you put in like an apricorn and 3 other misc items. So, yeah, I think I agree with Flame. You should have been able to just trade in the apricorns for a Pokeball, like 1 apricorn for 1 Pokeball.
Yeah, I think that would have been the better way to go about it, but then I suppose it's a nice enough callback, and honestly, it's just a small thing. If you don't like it, don't use it. If you do, go ahead. Why not?
And I did notice that this, along with some of the other more random-based mechanics throughout the game, especially on the Isle of Armor, they do stop you from save scumming it. They make you save when you use it. So, yeah, you're gonna just accept whatever it throws out at you.
Holy shit, Polygon says if you put in 4 apricorns of 1 colour, you'll have a 1% chance to get the red ball, and you have a 0.1% chance to get a Safari or Sport Ball. That should... The more apricorns you put in, the more your percentage should go up, not down.
Well, like, what even is the point of a fucking Safari Ball? Don't they just work as, like, basic Pokeball clones outside of Safari Zones?
Who knows, mate? Who knows? It's just for the aesthetic, I guess.
I'm pretty sure that's what they did in Gen 4, because I kind of hacked that apart, but like, I don't know whether they've changed that in this game, because like, this game does have a lot of the balls programmed in, even ones that have no real purpose, like the Beast Balls are in the game data as well, and you can get one of them from one of the market traders, and it's like, I think they have like a 100th chance compared to a regular Pokeball of catching stuff, so it's like completely worthless in this game.
Ah, well, come the Crown Tundra, I believe the Ultra Beasts are coming back, so...
Oh, is that confirmed?
Apparently the data mine says yes.
Oh, that could be pretty cool, actually. I'd be curious if they bring in any kind of lore reason as to why they're there.
Well, we'll see.
I won't count on it. By the way, Mustard is playing the free-to-start Pokemon Quest on his TV. It's very cute. I like it. I finished it. I don't think I did the extra dungeons because, damn, that's a bit of a grind, and I ain't spending money that I could spend on Dominoes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's like the best way to avoid a gambling problem from these games. Just, like, develop a pizza obsession instead.
Develop an eating disorder instead. There it is.
Jesus Christ.
It's a game in which a lot of square Pokemon appear. Anywho, guys, it's time for the second trial now, so we'll see you next time when we get down to that bad boy. See you then.